Hello, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Starsky from JTC. Together with me, we have Kevin from CDL, Alison from Frasers Property, and Edward from Hongkong Land. Today, I'll be taking us through the challenge statement on an integrated approach to building facade cleaning, inspection, and repair. This is a joint challenge statement by JTC Corporation, City Developments Limited, Frasers Property, and Hongkong Land to explore how might we replace dangerous work at heights activities by adopting automation solutions for our building facades. Next slide, please. I'm sure most of you know that our buildings are cleaned on a regular basis. The cleaning of such industrial and commercial facades is done annually, and in some cases, half-yearly. The work typically involves a minimum of 3 personnel, 2 on a gondola or rope access system, and a 1 safety supervisor on ground level. In some cases, such as rope access systems, this can even go up to a 5-man team. The duration of such cleaning typically ranges from 1 to 3 months, depending on the complexity and size of the building. Alongside facade cleaning, with the release of the BCA periodic facade inspection regime, buildings that are more than 20 years of age are also required to be inspected every 7 years. Defects are being flagged out by inspectors for remedial action later on, according to severity and urgency. Next slide, please. So you might ask, why are we trying to automate a process that has been in operation for decades now? Let me share 2 examples in Singapore with you that have resulted in injuries. In January, a 27-year-old foreign worker fell to his death when his rope was entangled with the side mirror of a passing bus and snapped. He was part of a 2-man team using rope access equipment to paint the exterior of a building. In April 2019, a faulty gondola led to 2 men being stranded for 15 minutes while 1 worker sustained minor injuries, including cuts to his head. Thus, we can see that there is dangerous operations due to working at heights for facades. Next slide, please. We are looking for an autonomous facade cleaning solution integrated with automated inspection techniques to guide the system to subsequently perform repair works for minor defects. Though this challenge statement is primarily focused on facade cleaning, we note that there could be potential synergy to also incorporate inspection and repair elements into the system. Besides reducing the risk of working at heights, an unmanned robotic solution could also lead to a lower life cycle cost for the building, achieve a more consistent cleaning, reduce manpower requirements, and improve resiliency of our buildings by detecting and repairing building defects early. Next slide. So some of the expected outcomes include being able to clean at least 80% of the facade autonomously, which also means that the system must be able to cross common facade features such as mullions or sunshades, and systems that are able to clean multiple facade types are preferred. We are also looking to reduce the cost of operations by 15% or more and improve productivity compared to traditional cleaning and inspection methods. It is also important that we maintain privacy for our tenants while the facade works are ongoing. As mentioned previously, inspection and repair components are a bonus consideration, and innovators may propose the defect types to be inspected and repaired. However, the final solution should also be able to be sold independently, either as a cleaning solution only or as a package for developers to choose from. Solutions that are environmentally friendly will also be given a bonus. Next slide, please. So for JTC properties include industrial and commercial buildings across Singapore, ranging from flatted factories to business parks. With 100 industrial estates and 8,200 hectares of industrial land developed by JTC, some examples of our estates include the One North Estate, Changi Business Park, Tuas Biomed Park, and Tampines Wafer Fab Park. For our buildings, we have a range of facades from RC, reinforced concrete, to glass, and we typically clean our buildings once or twice a year, depending on the typology. As part of the submission requirements, we will also require a cost-benefit analysis to be carried out to show the commercial viability of adopting such a solution for our buildings and estates. Now, I would like to hand over the time to Kevin from City Developments Limited, CDL, to take us through their building types and specific requirements.
Hi, thanks, Stucky. Hi, afternoon, everyone. Next slide, please. Yeah, so CDL has a couple of commercial properties across Singapore, ranging from offices, malls, located predominantly, the previous slide, yeah, located in the CBD and central parts of Singapore. The building heights varies from 20-story plus to a typical skyscraper height. The facade types comprise of a combination in some of the buildings like marble, stone material, aluminium, and predominantly glass. So the glass also comes with both type with and without mullions. So the innovators here out here we have to take into account such a different type of facade when they design for the cleaning solution. Cleaning frequency typically is pretty similar to what JTC has, once or twice a year. Yeah, we try to do it more for areas in the CBD, buildings in the CBD. And our requirements will then comprise of evaluation of the type of technical methodology of cleaning, whether is there a need for additional infrastructure for the solution, and obviously financial feasibility study versus the more traditional type of cleaning like Spider-Man or gondola. Yeah, and also we acknowledge that different buildings have will come back with different type of technical and financial requirements. So the proposed solution could be building specific. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we'd like to invite Alison from Frasers Property.
Yeah, hi. We have a couple of commercial properties, and we thought that for start, we want to start with our property in CBD, our namesake Frasers Tower. There are challenges when we are cleaning this because of the strong wind. And we are very mindful of the risks involved, and we are trying to find a solution that can allow us to do the cleaning both internally and externally. To just give this, basically to provide a safe environment for people to work, and it allows us to cut down the amount of time needed. And because if we're using a robotic solution, all this can be done after office hour, so we will be able to do the work in less time, faster speed, and of course, privacy issues can be safeguarded for our tenants. So that's what we're looking for.
Thank you, Alison. Next, we'd like to invite Edward from Hong Kong then.
Thank you. So Hong Kong Land's building in Singapore is One Raffles Link. It's a ground scraper, meaning that it's very long frontage with a large floor plate. The facade types, there are three types: glass, aluminium, and stone cladding. So the solution needs to cater for that as well as the mullions. Now, one of the issues we've had is that we're looking for a solution really that doesn't need to use the gondola, although we can look into that as a solution. But previously we looked at something, and the BMU OEM had difficulty with the change of use and unfamiliarity with the solution. So we're hoping that we can find a solution that's not using the gondola. Yeah, so those are my kind of the main points, where if it's possible to find something without the gondola use.
Thank you, Edward. Really exciting to hear from the different challenge statement owners on the iconic buildings that could potentially be the test beds for the innovators. With that, we'd like to proceed to the Q&A segment. Do submit your questions using our Q&A function. We have already received the first question from our audience. I think, Starsky, we will take this question together. The Ujawa asked whether for their solution, which is still under development, about 2 years, currently in the testing and the final design stage, right? Whether they can apply for the BEAMP program. The system cannot do any repair, because that requires further development on their end. Feel free to add on, Starsky. But for the BEAMP program, we understand that there are the innovators that are applying, they might be at different stages. We are open to hear from the different innovations out there globally. Yes, so even if you cannot do repairs currently, we like to receive your proposal, especially if you have an interesting approach to how you could do facade cleaning and inspection. Basically, you don't need to tick every box: cleaning, inspection, repair. If you could you could do facade cleaning, you could submit your proposal.
Yep. Hi. So yeah, Zipeng just put it very well. So predominantly the first criteria is actually the facade cleaning. So that should be a must tick. Then the repair is a bonus. So if you manage to find something, we would like to explore the repair component more from a POC angle. So we like to carry out a small trial to see whether it's possible to integrate all three: facade cleaning, followed by inspection and then repair. Because for example, if the robot or the gondola is already going down the building facade, then it will also make sense that, to also carry out inspection at the same time, we follow up with a repair.
Yep. The next question, I'd like to invite all 4 challenge statement owners to answer. The question is, what is the ideal form of robotics you are looking at? Because there is gondola, wall crawler, rope access-based robot. In your mind, what would be the ideal robot to do this task? I would start first with Kevin. Kevin, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Zipeng. So it depends on the so actually in the requirement under CDL, we actually want to focus more on then what is a building specific solution, I suppose, for this case. So certain buildings require gondola because of its height, certain building don't. So it depends on at what type of robotic solution does wave scan technology has in mind, and probably it can only be applied to a certain form of buildings. Yeah, so I can't really answer. Depend is building specific this particular question. So if I mean we can open up couple of buildings within our portfolio. If there is a certain building that can meet this where you can think you can deploy a robot, we'll be happy to explore further.
Yep. And the challenge statement owners are very much interested to learn from you, the innovator, which type of solution applies that to a certain building type. Starsky, would you be able to add on any insights regarding this question?
Yeah, sure. I think I also want to take the second question with that has been asked as well, which is, by Gen Robotics, is there any restrictions for modifying the top floor where we could place our structural unit? So these two questions are quite closely linked because, as Kevin mentioned, is building specific, and likely the top floor of the building, right, is often packed with M&E equipment as well as other competing users for the roof space. So in my opinion, the crawler or something that you want to place on top of the building is very limited in capacity. Although we have come across some buildings that have quite an open roof structure for the top floor. And adding on to the wave scan question, right? I think we have looked at drone solution as well, and the market is quite it has come to a standstill for drone facade cleaning. So likely it will be more towards a gondola base or a crawler.
Alison, will you have any additional insight?
If actually we did a little trial, and that is actually using a gondola system with a robotic with a robot lah. So there was some challenge because of the weight, because the building is designed with a certain is designed for a certain weight in terms of carrying, for example, 2 human load. So we have to take that into account whether the existing design is suitable for that. And there's also a need to customize it for the use of a robot. And of course, we also look at catering some space at the rooftop to allow this to be carried out. So there are challenges involved. So in a way, it will be interesting to find out whether there are more options out there, and that will allow us to do this seamlessly. And the other thing also is, what will happen to the existing gondola system? If let's say we modify it for robotic use, and subsequently can this so-called cradle be allowed to be used for multiple purpose, not just for facade cleaning, but also like for building repair, inspection. So in a way, all this, it will be good to make it beyond facade cleaning and to allow other purposes as well. So that's what we are looking at. And of course, looking at the BMU, how do we integrate with the BMU, and all the integration. Yeah, so that's what we are working on. Yeah.
Thank you, Alison. So Edward from Hong Kong then did share briefly on the challenges with a gondola-based solution. But over to you, Edward, to share additional insight.
Yeah, so so the issue that we had with the gondola before was that it had to change use, and for use with person, which is at status at the moment, and then changing it back to use without person, or use with equipment, and then back and forth. And I think there wasn't any guidelines from MOM about how guidelines for DMAG to follow in terms of that change for use. I understand it seems to work for other OEMs, but we were a bit unfamiliar with that, and we needed some guidance. And that's that. So we're not actually against the gondola use. If you can provide a solution that makes it clear for us and to DMAG, then we're open to that as well.
Okay, thank you all, Edward. So would you be able to provide some guidance to the innovators on how to do the costing for this solution, by providing some insights on what's the typical cost for manual facade cleaning? Starsky, will you be able to take this question?
Oh, our one's about 35,000 for our building.
Okay.
For JTC, the cleaning, because it's building specific, right? So for a smaller building, it ranges about 30K to a larger building about 90K. So that's some numbers to work with.
So maybe I clarified a bit on Starsky's point. So 30K to 35K is based on more granite than glass itself. Yeah. So once again, this number is really very building specific, and I don't think there's a fixed cost across all the different buildings.
Yeah, Kevin here. I'd like to add on to Chiyong's point. Yeah, pretty building specific. Also look at the topography of the building, the height of the building, the availability of the mounting or the anchor points, stuff like that, and also obviously the material of the building. So very hard to give a very specific number, but pretty close to what Starsky has shared. Probably for higher rise building, it goes as high as about a 6-digit figure. Yeah, thereabout. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to, because the question came in from the online audience, clarify the currency that we are thinking of when we were sharing about the cost is Singapore dollar. Yeah. So a question from Ujawa, would there be any benefit if they introduce a ropeless setup for this solution? Starsky, will you be able to answer that?
Sure. So I think ropeless will have many benefits. So including you wouldn't get tangled on other services or facade features. But I think one of the key consideration is if it's ropeless, right, how is it going to navigate the facade? So for example, if you have a suction cup system and the protrusion is more than the suction cup, then how does the robot travel across it? So I think we are open to receiving proposals, and we would like to see how your solution can match the requirements.
So maybe I also want to add that I think through this problem statement, I mean, we have articulated the outcome quite clearly. So in between how you all want to propose the different solutions, as long as it meets our intended outcomes, because eventually different proposals will have different pros and cons. So ideally the proposal you come forth and submit to us will have overcome all the cons of other proposals, and then it's an ideal solution that can really meet our intended outcomes, whether is it ropeless or with ropes, gondola base, or drone solution by itself.
Just to address one of the questions from our online audience. Basically the question is whether you are looking for solutions for new building or existing building. Based on what the challenge statement owner has shared, they are looking to implement this solution for existing building. We would like to hear from you if you feel that you want to propose a solution for a new building. If you could share with us the details on how to incorporate your automation and robotics for the new building. Yeah, Starsky, anything to add on?
Yeah, I think predominantly the stock of buildings that are in existence now, most of them are existing buildings. So that's why we are actually looking more towards the existing buildings angle rather than trying to solve new buildings, which of course, if we manage to solve the existing buildings issue, we will be able to take the technical requirements and implement them in our next building in the form of specs.
Yep. So there's a request from the innovator to have an image of all the buildings that could potentially be the test building site. With that, we will work with the challenge statement owner to gather some pictures and upload it on our website to share with everyone. Another question is, are we looking to clean both the inside and outside of the facade? Because they already have a solution for the external surface. Will you be looking for the internal surface also? Starsky, over to you.
For this challenge statement, we are looking at external facades. Yeah, so that's the main consideration because it's more challenging to clean the external facades.
Same with Hongkong Land.
I can add on, actually for Frasers Tower, we do have a challenge to do the internal walls as well because they are at least 4-story high. So that's part, if you look at the pictures that we have, it has the facade details, and yeah, this picture is good because this picture shows the internal glass areas that we have. So during our facade cleaning, this is also included in our specifications for the scope of work.
The final question, for the development of such a solution, right? Is there what are the regulatory considerations that the innovators need to account for? Starsky, will you be able to share more? And I also would give some time to the rest of the challenge statement owner for this question.
Regulatory concerns, is it?
Yep.
Okay, first I think there's of course, if the solution is a gondola base, right, there is the issue of changing the certification of the gondola to a robotic use lifting platform certificate rather than lifting for manpower. Having said that, I think the various OEMs also need to have the buy-in because, for example, some OEMs might be more receptive towards such an idea of having an autonomous facade cleaning. And for example, and also for building at heights, for example, you saw the Frasers Tower was, I think, 230 meters tall. The issues of wind will also be of a concern to the developers.